Haven't seen Mum yet.
Hey guys, Dustin here. Welcome to another episode of Horroritis. Now you may know Peter Jackson from the Lord of the Rings movies, or the Hobbit movies, or the 2005 remake of King Kong. And he's definitely made a name for himself, but back in the late 80s and early 90s, he was in New Zealand making gore fests like Braindead. I'm not gonna lie, this movie is full of gore. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. It's not a secret that Peter Jackson knows his King Kong movies, so it's not really a surprise when this movie opens up on Skull Island in 1957. We see two men carrying a bamboo cage down the side of a cliff. The man in back, who is the guide, is begging the man in front, who's a zoo official, to put the cage down and let the animal inside go. After a few minutes more, the guide drops his end of the cage. As the zoo official is yelling at him, telling him to pick up the cage, a bunch of tribesmen from the island kind of come out of the rocks and surround him. The tribe leader tells them that they have to release the animal, which we now know is called a rat monkey, and then they have to leave the island and never come back. The zoo official pulls out a document and shows them that he has a permit to take the monkey, but the permit doesn't really matter to the tribesmen, and they end up shredding it. So the zoo official takes a gun out and starts firing at him. While everybody scatters, the zoo official picks up the cage and escapes down to a waiting jeep at the bottom. He fumbles the cage as he gets into the jeep, and the guide, who's being chased by the tribesmen, eventually catches up, and they speed off away from the tribesmen. Now, as they're driving away, the zoo official complains that the rat monkey bit him on the hand. Now, this freaks out the other guys with him, and they kick him out of the jeep and pull out a giant blade and chop his hand off. Now, as he's writhing around in pain with his hand cut off, they notice that there's a bite on his other arm. So, naturally, that has to go too. So now he's missing a hand and an arm, and he's flopping around screaming, and they notice he has scratches on his head, and well, I'll let you guess what happens next. So the next thing we see is the zoo official's companions getting paid while the cage with the rat monkey in it gets loaded onto a plane, and the plane takes off. So cut to Wellington, we see a woman named Paquita who's working in her shop when the meat delivery guy shows up. Now, he comes in, and she flirts with him a while, and then he leaves. And as he leaves, her grandmother comes up from behind her and notices that she likes the meat guy.
You like that boy, Paquita?
So they go in the back, and the grandmother reads Paquita's tarot. From this, they determine that Roger, aka the meat man, is not actually Paquita's true love, and that she'll know her true love
by the symbol of the star and of the moon.
Just then, Lionel comes in to drop off his grocery order. He spills a box of licorice and a cup of pencils, and as he goes to clean up the mess, Paquita stops him because the pencils and the licorice have made the sign of the star and the moon. At this point, Paquita gets a little creepy, and Lionel gets a little nervous and leaves. We learn that Lyle lives with his mother, and he's completely devoted to her. We also learn that Lionel's mother takes advantage of this every chance she gets.
My jardiniere, it's shattered.
Oh, Mum, it was your favourite.
It never have happened if you'd taken more care with the dusting.
Now, because she's just been elected as treasurer of the Ladies' Welfare League, she makes Lionel go out and mow the yard before the president of the league comes over to offer congratulations.
Oh, I just mowed the lawn.
Does this look like a well-maintained frontage?
Now, while Lionel's out there mowing the yard, a dog jumps over the gate, pins him, and starts licking his face. The dog is soon followed by Paquita, who comes through carrying the box of groceries. After some awkwardness on Lionel's part, they make a date to go to the zoo.
I go with the zoo.
Oh, no. You want to go to the zoo?
Yes, please.
The next day at the zoo, everything's going well until Lionel zones out staring at some water. He reveals that his father drowned trying to save him when he was young, and now he's kind of messed up about the whole thing. Paquita comforts him, and they move on to look at the monkeys. Now, at the monkey cage, the monkeys are throwing around apple cores. Paquita picks one up, chucks it into the cage at one of the monkeys. The monkey goes to grab it, but just as this monkey gets down to grab this apple core, another monkey reaches over and smacks the monkey in the face and actually kills it and takes the apple core for itself. We learn at this point that it's the rat monkey from the beginning of the movie, and after the monkey is done with the apple core, it grabs the other monkey's arm, rips it off, and decides to eat that too. Lionel helps Paquita, who's weirded out and grossed out, over to a bench, and they sit down and they talk, and we see Lionel's mom creeping around in the bushes right in front of the monkey cages. Now, she slips, actually on a banana peel, and falls back into the cage where the rat monkey sticks his head out and takes a chunk out of her arm. She then smacks it with her purse, it falls down, and she stomps its head, effectively killing the monkey. So that sums up about the first 20 minutes of the movie. I've brought you right up to where things just start happening, and that means it's time to get to the good stuff. Now, this movie is full of absurd humor and an absurd amount of gore. It's actually rumored to be one of the bloodiest movies ever made. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is the gore. Even though it's played up for humor in this movie, there's so much of it that I don't really know where to start. So, let's start where Lionel's mother rips her face. After the rat monkey bites her, her health deteriorates seriously.
Oh.
But that's not enough to stop her from having dinner with the president of the Ladies' Welfare League.
Careful, it'll stick on crooked.
Which brings me to the next bit of gore. The bite on her arm actually squirts bloody pus across the table into a guy's custard, and since, for whatever reason, he enjoys eating custard with his eyes closed, well, you get the point.
Damn fine custard. Rich and creamy.
Right after that, Lionel's mother's ear falls off into her own custard, and she eats that. She's practically a zombie at this point. Shortly after that, Paquita comes over with her dog, which Lionel's mother also eats, and this leads to one of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
Your mother ate my dog!
Not all of it.
From there, Lionel's mother goes and rips off a nurse's head. What a bitch. So after Lionel stashes his zombie mom, or Mombi, in the basement with the zombie nurse, no clever name, he decides it's a good idea to sedate them, one with a needle in the eye and the other straight up the nose. So when the Mombi breaks out of the basement and gets outside, she gets hit by a trolley and flown through the front window of Paquita's store. So after that, everybody believes his mother to be dead, so the next thing to do is embalm her. And the embalming scene, well, that scene's pretty special. I won't pretend to know how things were in 50s New Zealand, but didn't they have better embalming technology than that? Oh, and there's the cameo from Peter Jackson himself. Things are also pretty gory when Mombi crawls from her grave. She really just gets worse and worse as the movie goes. Which leads to another great quote from the Karate Priest.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Then there's the zombie breakfast table, which really shows us that zombies are just like children. Also, zombies are horny. And can have babies. Frightening, frightening babies. After a while, Lionel decides that he needs to poison the zombies and put them out of their misery permanently. But he mistakenly uses animal stimulant. And, well, they freak out and wreak havoc on Lionel's uncle's house party. But it's okay, because Lionel's uncle and all his friends are giant dicks. Pretty soon, everyone's a zombie, and only Lionel and Paquita can stop them. And there's also a sentient pile of guts thrown in for good measure. So, when your house is full of zombies, what do?
Party's over.
By the way, this is my wife's favorite scene. The whole thing comes to an end when Lionel's mom, who at this point is mutated into some super giant zombie, opens her giant body cavity, sucks him in, and he has to cut his way back out. They used 300 liters of blood in this scene alone. The blood was gushing out at about 5 gallons per second. So that's it for this video. I covered all the best gory stuff, but there's so much more in there that I skipped over just because I didn't want to ruin the movie for you. So, obviously, if you haven't seen this, you need to go check it out. If you have seen it, you obviously know why you need to go watch it again. And if you want to pick this movie up, hit the link in the description, and that'll take you to my website where you'll find an Amazon link where you can buy it if you don't already own it. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button because I've got loads more videos to come at you. And if you want to contact me personally, you can do it in the comments below, or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook, both at The Horroritis. So until next time, I'm Dustin, and this was Horroritis.